everyone, I'm Sophia Moran. Today we'll be investigating the Shang Dynasty, specifically the workers, witnesses, and soldiers. Now, let us jump in as we investigate the history of the Shang Dynasty.
Hi, I am Fian Hu. I am 19 years old. I design, I make sculptures, and one of my favorite things to do is work on jade stones. They're beautiful. Any stone is so amazing to work on.
How long have you been working on these? Well, more specifically, how long have you been in the art industry? Well, just let me check my notes real quick. I love that question. Ever since I was a little girl, I loved art. I admired the work our Shang artists did. Sometimes I would play with random objects and try to make sculptures or animal masks. Since girls didn't go to school, I would work on art most of the time. My mother did ask for help around the house every now and then, but she was my biggest supporter, and I am so grateful for that. Well, that's amazing. Did you go through any obstacles while trying to become an artist? Oh yes, quite a few obstacles actually. My father didn't like the fact that I was into art. The fact that my mother let me be free from housework, but I ignored what he said and I followed my dream anyway. Another thing that also was kind of something that was difficult was working with bronze. Our Shang artists would make beautiful vessels and other objects. That was a little confusing for me because I was big on making animal masks, but it was confusing, and I think I finally figured it out pretty recently too. But I love the sewing and the sawing and the filing that we do to the jade stones. But yeah, I think that was the only obstacle. Interesting. Well, this really gave me so much inspiration. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Yes, sure, no problem. This left me with such an open mind for art. Thank you. Have a great day. Vian really opened up my mind about the artist industry. What about you? If not, buckle your seatbelts. Next, we're interviewing a writer. Let's take a look.
Hello, I am Ziying Chen. I love to write, read, you name it. I'm 22 years old. I started writing at 7. Ever since then, well, it's my favorite hobby. I love it so much.
Hi, Zing. I was curious about your journey because it takes a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of effort to learn writing. So I was just curious. I'm aware that early Chinese writing was used pictographs, but what about modern now? Oh yeah, early Chinese writing was more like pictures. Now we use characters to write. But by the time our dynasty started, we used logographs. They were kind of like characters that would mean words. It honestly took a while to learn. Wow. Did you hit any obstacles while trying to learn? If I remember correctly, there was a period in time where I was about to give up of learning how to write. I couldn't figure out a certain character when I was younger, but thankfully I figured it out and I still follow that dream. That's great. Inspirational even. Well, thank you, Zing, for coming to interview with us. Yeah, sure, no problem. Have a good one. That was great. Zian sounds like he loves what he does. Next up, we have a witness. Though I said to hold on to your seatbelts last time, really hold on for this one. I have a feeling we're going to hear a lot. Let's jump in.
Yo, what's up, y'all? I am Chi. I've seen it all. At this point, I've seen so much that I don't even remember my age. I have a fear of artists. They are too scary, and they have so much energy. They're so peppy.
Hello, Chi. It's so great to interview you. I know it was hard for you to come here today because we had an artist in the studio, but I am so thankful you still came here anyway.
Yeah. Sorry. I felt the presence of an artist. Anyway, what do you want to know? I know too much.
Oh yeah, before we get into anything crazy, any fun facts about the Shang Dynasty we should know?
A few, I think. Oh! Did you know the Shang Dynasty was the first dynasty to use bronze? A king's palace usually would be on a platform. I think that's a pretty fun fact.
Wow, I actually didn't know about the bronze one. Speaking of kings, can you tell us, like, I don't know, kind of cultural things the king did, or like stuff the king did in general? Yeah, this one is strange. But underneath the foundation of a palace, human bones were found. If I remember what I saw correctly, we would perform sacrifices when people constructed a new house. A new royal house. That's scary, but honestly interesting. I didn't know that. Did you have any more to tell us about the kings? Oh yeah, much more. When a king died and our people buried him, animals, servants, and slaves would go down the ramps into the pits to be sacrificed. I think they did it so the king would continue to be served in the afterlife or something like that. It's a bit strange. Our dynasty honored our ancestors. We usually gave them signs of respect, like food, sometimes human sacrifices. Oh, how nice. Do you know anything else not related to human sacrifices? Oh, yeah. Something really interesting to me was, at least oracle bones. Kings usually use this to ask ancestors for advice, usually on important things like, sometimes where to build places or to live, so like cities, where to hunt. Sometimes, if they were in a silly, goofy mood or being really serious, they would go and ask the ancestors, yo, should we go to war or not? These bones were made from cow bone or turtle shell. Oh, so like a fortune teller, kind of? Yeah, I guess. Anyway, a holy man, which is now a priest in case you couldn't tell, would say something like this. So and so is a great place to build a city. Then the holy man would press a burning hot needle. This would cause our oracle bone to crack. They thought a pattern was the message, like the crack pattern, I guess. A holy man or a king would translate that, and the holy man would carve it into the bone. That's so cool. This information was so interesting. Last thing, how did this amazing dynasty end? Yes. How did our beautiful Shang dynasty end? Well, our dynasty usually did amazing at war. More forward, our strength brought out the end of our dynasty. Constant warfare weakened our soldiers and the power of the Shang dynasty. I believe it was about like 1045 BCE. A state called Zhou rose up against us. They caught our dynasty unexpectedly and stormed the king's capital city. Our king took all his jewelry. Yeah, he took all of his jewelry, and put himself in flames of a fire. I guess you can call that suicide. But he left us with all his jewelry. All of his jewelry. Wow, thank you, Chi. Thank you for teaching us all of this. You really do know a lot. It was so interesting. Well, was I right when I said to hold on to your seatbelts? I learned a lot about the Shang dynasty. It was honestly so interesting. What were your thoughts on the king's death? Should he have fought for his dynasty, and was it worth it? That concludes our documentary. Thank you, and let's get funky! I will be investigating the... start over. Sorry, it's a little... Not ready. That was great. Jian... Start over. Okay. Let me read this. It's like almost 10, and I have to hurry up and get this off my face because I want to go to sleep, but it's staining